Hi, listeners. Welcome back to Drink a Little Lead with Me, your music podcast dedicated to art songs. This is Ita, and I'm so happy to be back after such a long break. This episode is proudly supported by GGG Kulturkik Foundations. Before we get into the episode, don't forget to subscribe and turn on bell notifications. If you like subtitles, go on to YouTube channel to see this episode. And now I'm very happy to introduce our guest today, Chiara Jarrell. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. It's a great pleasure to have you here.
Same.
Chiara, I know that you are from Geneva, but actually you were born in Vienna and then you went to primary school in Strasbourg.
Yes, in France.
What brought your parents to Austria and France?
It was for my dad's work. They went to Austria because he got a teaching position there. And why we moved to Strasbourg, I don't remember. I don't know. I've always followed them, and I know that they moved a lot already before, even Vienna. So,
did you have souvenir of these two cities that you live?
Austria, not, because when we left Austria, I was 4 or 5. So I don't have much memories. Just because I went back a few times, I remember then I see things and my parents or friends told me and I'm like, yeah. And Strasbourg, yeah, quite a lot because I stayed there until I was 11, something like this. So I have quite some memories, especially the house where we were living into. It was a very beautiful house. Like typical in Strasbourg, you have a long street with a lot of buildings, but it's houses that are like
cottage, with these crosses.
With a little garden behind. Yeah. So, but I was super close also to the neighbors because we were always seeing each other then. So yeah, a lot of memories from this time.
Mm. And your father being a professional musician, a composer, I am curious, how was your first contact with music?
I think it's hard to talk about the first one because I feel like already in the belly from my mom, I was in the music because even though I have 3 other siblings, so she didn't have at that time, I think, a lot of time to go to the concerts, but
people come to play at home, no?
We always lived in the music, so I feel I'm born in the music. So I have some memories of me as a really young, I was very active and I was always running in the rehearsals. I was so happy when I could see all the orchestra musicians. They loved me always. It was always like, Chiara, the daughter of. And I loved it. I loved to be in the center.
That's nice to be found
so
cute.
These memories, yeah, definitely. So these are great memories from the rehearsals. And
what were you doing while they rehearsed?
What I loved to do was drawing. So I even have a funny memory of, it was a rehearsal where Pierre Boulez was there. And I just remember, and I still have this drawing. I was just drawing him. It was awful if I look at it now because it didn't really look like him. But a bit, you could see the... So I remember that I was drawing a lot or moving, dancing around always. Yeah.
How did you start learning singing?
I was singing in a choir in Strasbourg that I loved. But my first real memories are in Geneva, when we then came to Geneva around 10 and 11, as I said before. And there was like a chorale where we were singing a lot, but it was more like also pop songs and more like this kind of music, jazz hits. And I loved to go there because I could like do music, be with friends that I met from there. And then also I just continued with La Maîtrise in Geneva. And there, because we're in La Maîtrise, we had the chance to have like one singing lesson, and that's the first time I got in contact with really like classical singing, and I loved it, even though I know it was a bit early because it was before I
changed your voice.
Yeah, even if we women change less, but I had my first singing teacher was a very, very good teacher because she never said do a bigger voice, or I was always allowed to sing like a child the time, but she was still trying to teach me technique, like breathing stuff and music, a lot of music. I sang a lot of pieces already with her. So it was a very, very special teacher.
So you started singing and dancing both quite early when you were young.
I started dancing first because singing, before choosing the voice as instrument, I was playing piano and then cello.
Oh, wow.
So for sometimes I was having these two and then being in the choir. But then when I started to take the singing lessons, I had to stop one thing because I was dancing 5 times a week almost. Then with cello and piano, it was too much. So I decided to stop the piano. And then I continued cello and singing. And after some time, I just dedicated to singing and dancing, yeah.
Since you love to sing and love to dance, I wonder how opera was a thing for you.
I love to act. And I always remember also that when I was younger, I was always doing it was always a theater, my life as a child. I was always trying to play for my family, for my parents. So acting, playing characters was something always I loved. There was even a time I really wanted to become an actress. And I think one of my dreams is still one day to play in a movie or this is something I really want to, it's on my to-do list. So for me, opera was the thing that was combining music, movement, not dancing, but movement. You need to feel your body, and acting. So that's how I was like, okay, that's what I want to do. And
did you do a lot while you were in Geneva, like when you were a young singer?
I did quite some things. Yeah, I did quite some small it was from the music school, right? But I was singing also a lot of arias in the singing lesson, so I could play with that. And yeah.
I mean, nowadays I don't really see you in opera's productions. Is not anymore something for you, or?
My interest changed quite a lot after I went to Berlin to study there, because I think it's like the city where the operas are very, very good and very active and very present. You have like 3 opera houses. And I feel that I have too many interests to dedicate to one craft, and opera needs really, it asks a lot to be on the stage. The repertoire, it asks a lot. Not saying that the rest doesn't ask, but I just realized I'm not that passionate about all the history also in the opera, and it's also, quite some mentality things that I felt too much pressure to not drink before singing, and a lot of things that I felt, I cannot, for me, live then freely, and also because I have, with the dancing, which is asking also a lot. And because also, especially, I realized that, for example, in lead, you can also, you're not playing the characters, no, but you can also really tell stories. And this is what I really liked in the opera. I realized in lead, for example, you have it's shorter, but you can still say a lot and also...
And maybe more acting in your own personality.
Yes,
in your understanding of the protagonist.
Yeah, definitely. So... Let's see. I'm open with life brings, but for sure I kind of took this decision a bit some times ago, but I would not say no if I get the opportunity, for example, to sing Susanna, which is a role that I love. If it comes to me, I will not say, no, I don't want to do opera. It's not this.
Let's
it's
just
pretend. This I don't want to, I would not say that, but it's, Also, I love contemporary music, and I feel at some point I have so much interest, but sometimes you need to say, okay, I want to go this way for a time and see what's coming with it.
We have all very limited energy and time, and then going on one path requires deepness and also engagement, no?
Definitely,
Yeah. Myself, this is a story I think I never told you. I did breaking when I was in high school.
I didn't know.
Between my 15 and 18.
So, wow, okay.
Yes, cool. It was my center focus of activities. I mean, it's not academical training. It was just activities club inside of the universities. But it was really my focus. I might skip some lessons during the day. I hope my mom is not listening. But after the school, I always go to rehearse or
to do
practice the choreography with friends. And it requires really a lot of physical training.
It does.
Especially for girls. Yeah.
That's nice. And do you still do it sometimes?
Now, not anymore. Yeah, when I was 17, I decided to go to Paris and study classical music. I brought myself to a completely another country. I had to learn the language and things. That was my turning point of stopping dancing. Yeah, after we can say, you can always pick it up again. I think there is something contradictory with these two activities, like classical guitar dancing and classical guitar playing and hip hop. I mean, street dancing, like with the style, with the circle of friends and
It's another lifestyle for sure.
Really, it's happened to me. Like one weekend, I have guitar concerts in the fancy hall, dressing with a long robe and this. And a few days after is the dancing show between universities. You know, we always go to other schools to exchange our choreography, and we can also invite them to come to dance. And there you dress an oversized T-shirt.
Yeah, of course. The sneakers.
Dickies pants. You know Dickies pants?
Yeah. Did you have a cap also?
I don't like so much, but with breakdance we put more the
hat,
the soft, you know.
Yeah. So you did spin on your head.
Yeah.
Do you have videos?
Maybe we find something.
We'll show you
on YouTube. But yes,
cool.
But you didn't stop anything, and you kept doing it professionally today. I wonder if it was evident for you to do both, or you also have this turning point in your life?
It was not evident. And if I'm honest, I also hope my parents are not listening to this, but from my family, they were not enchanté, like super happy that I do dancing, because of course your body, and especially in contemporary classical, feels like with 30, you're like out of the stage. So I think it came from a worried place, but it was more like, no, music is good, you know. So I, for a long time, didn't allow myself to even call myself a dancer, though I was training a lot. And even in Berlin, where I studied, my teacher was always saying, no, you have to choose one. You cannot do both, which I understand. But every time someone was telling me this, I was, for some time, like I felt I'm two persons. I was the classical singer and I was the dancer. And
which dance did you do?
By then, when I'm talking about this time, it was already the modern African dances and dancehall from Jamaica. But before, when I was younger, I was trained in ballet and contemporary. But with 16, I started dancehall, even 14, but regularly was from 16, because the class was only allowed from 16 because it's of the lyrics of the song and everything that comes with it. But so that was before going to Berlin, that I was just, you know, I was in school, so I was having 3 days a week this and 2 days that, 3 days that. And then when I went to Berlin, it's when I really, really started to focus only like on modern African dances, but it came more to me. I didn't say, oh, that's what I want to do. I was looking more for dancehall classes, but then I found this one amazing person, choreographer, who opened the first like Afro-Cuban dance school and like specialized really in that in Berlin. And it was like the right timing. She opened that. I started with these lessons with one teacher from Benin. And I don't know, there was something, I think the fact that I studied this academical, really, you have to behave, good thing, which is not really my character, but I was always trying to fit somewhere. And then when I was going out of this Hochschule in Berlin, I was always like, which is something that this dance and these friends gave me a lot to just live. Like, it's a lot of fire that I was trying to shut down in the day, you know, when I was but then I would let it out. Even in nightclubs, I would always go and party because it's part of these cultures and these dances. So yeah.
And how did you really decide? Was it after your bachelor studies that you said, okay, no, I don't care, I do both?
No, it was I think towards the middle end of the studies, where I realized it's taking much more time and people believed in me, like especially these two teachers. Then at some point, the one said, can you sub my class? And I was like, of course not. Like, also it's another culture, so why will I teach something that is not from... But then I said, no, also no time with school concert. I was always like prioritizing singing. That's what I need to do. That's my work. The other one is like...
hobby.
But it was coming more and more. And then at some point I was like, okay, wow. And for my bachelor recital, it was the first time I wanted to combine both. So I did a piece on John Cage where I choreographed, danced. And I think it was a bit a rebellion for me because I even started on the piano, like the choreography, but I asked the Verwaltung, from the Hochschule. And yeah, it was, I think, my recital where I said, I want to combine both. Nobody, like my teacher back then, would not understand what, not only her, but quite some people would not understand why. And especially these dances, I could do ballet, would fit better with that, but I was like,
no, it's this.
And so I did that first piece where I was dancing and singing, and then it's where I felt this was the thing that was stressing me the less to perform. And then the rest of songs, Mozart, Liedern and Arien, I was like, it was really stressful, but this would be like, this is me, kind of.
Naturally, you feel
so
it's
from
natural.
that on, I was like, okay, I want to try to go into that. But still then I was not saying I'm a dancer, but I worked with one choreographer from France. And with her, she does a bit, I call dance therapy. It's not proper therapy, how we would call it, because she's coming also from dancehall. And with her, we worked a lot on trying to see that, okay, this is what makes me. So let's nourish that, and that's with her, a lot of intensive trainings, one-on-one. It started with Corona. I was doing first with Zoom. And then I saw her live, and then till now, I'm working with her. And I would say, thanks to her, I then said, okay, I'm a dancer, because for long also I was thinking, if I don't earn money with something, it's not your profession. So I was like, I'm not, which now changed. Of course, I am really living from both. But so yeah, I would say the last 5-6 years, I changed that, and I'm fine with both.
So not only you're professional in both fields, but you also combine them in your projects and some videos. I watched them, very nice. And that shows they are both key ways for you to express yourself. And I wonder, so how do you usually approach this? How does one form inspire the other? Or what is your creative process look like?
Well, to be honest, every time I'm trying to create a choreography with doing this, I'm like, why am I doing that to myself? Because both require something that is totally different. Like in singing, you really try to control the air, go like when you're out breathing in singing, you never shrink. But when I dance, usually I accompany like a movement with a breathing, which I cannot do while I'm singing, because then I'm like out of breath. Also, when I dance, of course, you breathe faster. The cardio is.
But you have to look still very calm.
So it's always a struggle, because especially dancing these type of dances that requires, like, it's like when you sing, you have this instrument that you have to, you need it. You need this posture, because it's your instrument. And of course you can sing quite in every position, but if you want a quality sound, you need to have this. It's like a piano, the instrument, it doesn't, or your guitar, it is what it is, the sound. So every time I'm trying to choreograph, I have like crazy moves coming, and I'm like, okay, but I cannot sing on that. And then I'm like, oh, but then it's everything so lyrical that I dance. So it's a process, it's a research. I don't know if one day I will arrive to where I want to arrive, but sometimes I wonder, why do I want to do this? But then it feels right when I find the right choreography. And I'm trying to really approach that more and more, also to have Liederabend where I dance suddenly with singing, or just dance. And the times I did that till now, it's funny, because for me it feels like it's weird. You go to a concert and then the singer is dancing. But every time I do it on performance, people are not shocked. So it shows me that I think it's really normal, because one colleague, when I started to study in the master in Basel, it was the first time I really wanted to show it to people. The Morgenstrauss, I think, is the first time I really did a recording of this mixing. And then she gave me that feedback of the end, saying like, wow, now I really saw you. Like, it was not, when you sing, it's not that something is missing, but this was like, it was so authentic. And then I was like, that's such a nice compliment that I try to remember every time I'm choreographing, and I feel like is it weird what I'm doing? But then I feel like, okay, it's so both in me. And every time often I say, maybe I should do one thing. But straight, my everything is like, oh, no, you need both. So yeah.
And you have the duality of personality and they are shown together. And,
Yeah.
and that creates your unique, artistic.
I think. Yeah.
Zum Spazierengehen genügt das Sonnenlicht, doch die Stadt Berlin zu sehen, genügt die Sonne nicht. Das ist kein lauschiges Plätzchen, das ist eine ziemliche Stadt, damit man da alles gut sehen kann. Da braucht man schon einige Watt. Na wat denn, was ist das für eine Stadt denn? Komm, mach mal Licht, damit man sehen kann, ob was da ist. Komm, mach mal Licht und rede nun mal nicht. Komm, mach mal Licht, dann wollen wir doch auch mal sehen, ob das eine Sache ist, Berlin im Licht. Komm, mach mal Licht, damit man sehen kann, ob was da ist. Komm, mach mal Licht und rede nun mal nicht. Komm, mach mal Licht, dann wollen wir doch auch mal sehen, ob das eine Sache ist, Berlin im Licht.
Berlin im Licht was written by Kurt Weill in 1928. I think exactly 100 years before your time studying in Berlin. Correct? When were you?
What is now 2024? Yeah, kind of. Because I moved to Basel a bit more than 4 years now. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
That's funny.
So I was thinking, what kind of Berlin do you feel in this song? Do you think there are elements of it that can still be found in today's Berlin, or does it belong entirely to a nostalgic 20th century world that's still out of reach?
There's definitely a lot that is still. That's why when to be honest, I didn't know the song before you sent me. And when I read the text, I was like, no, it's so true. Because I remember that this was something hard in Berlin, was that there was no light. It's gray. So to have a title, Berlin im Licht, is like, no, it's not true.
No.
Also,
You didn't understand anything.
Yeah, so it's still really, really... And when he says, es ist eine ziemliche Stadt, it is a ziemliche Stadt. Like, this city, it's crazy. Berlin is crazy.
It happens everything, no?
Yeah, you see everything. Everything that you could imagine, be like, no, it's crazy, you will see it there.
And we were laughing so much about the lyric. What is the funniest thing for you in this song?
I think, well, first the text, but also the way he wrote that, this doo-dim, boom, boom, dim, boom, dum, boom. It feels like something more, I don't know, Berlin for me, it's gray, it's very cold, even, it's really cliche, but, and then there was a dee-dim,
super nice.
Yeah.
It's very ironic.
Yeah, and also that he uses the game with the word, le jeu de mots. Yeah, le jeu de mots. With es braucht einige Watt, na wat denn? And this is something also the accent, the Berliner Ich accent is very, for me, very funny, with all due respect to the accent, of course.
They speak very differently?
Yeah, when you find Berliners, real Berliners, which you don't, I mean, I live there a lot and, well, quite, I have some friends that are real Berliners, and then they speak, it's very rough, this accent. And then using it on the ti-di-di-di, but navatten, it's like, it's so funny. This song is so funny. That's why every time you start to ti-di-di, I had to laugh.
And the end.
Yeah. Ring.
Da-di-da-di-da-da. Hey. Can we have a paper? It's good. L'âme évaporée et souffrante is a poem by Paul Bourget set to music by Claude Debussy in 1885, when Debussy was just 23 years old and living at the Villa Medici in Rome during his Prix de Rome residency. Now, although the Villa Medici is one of the most prestigious rewards for composers, and Debussy himself initially failed twice to win the first prize, he was finally accepted in 1884 thanks to his cantata L'Enfant Prodigue. But, ironically, what should have been a dream opportunity turned into a challenging and melancholic stay of 3 years. Basically, he was not happy living there, and during his time in Rome, Debussy was not very inspired by the commissions he was required to write. In particular, Zuleima, which is a symphonic ode, was harshly criticized of being bizarre, incomprehensible, and impossible to perform. How frustrating for him.
Yeah.
However, despite all the struggles, Debussy's heart seemed to find its own source of inspiration. Madame Marie-Blanche Vassigné, his mistress and great love at the time. Even from Rome, he kept composing songs for her, including L'âme évaporée et souffrante, which we are singing today.
Thanks.
For me, it's like the guy
Amazing.
has the best opportunity in his life and he doesn't care.
It's amazing.
After I understood this background and I thought, yeah, this song is purely, he was just purely in love.
I think you feel it in the music, though.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We saw this, l'âme, the soul with that you can touch, that you can smell, that you can feel physically.
All the sense, yeah.
Yeah. When
So
did you sing
funny.
this song the first time?
I don't remember exactly when, but it was definitely with that first teacher I was saying before. She would make me discover so much music. So, yeah, I think when I was like 14, 15, that's when I sang that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when we talked about, okay, what do we want to record for the podcast? I don't know, I felt, okay, this one is the... And I didn't sing it since then, I have to
Wow.
say.
So after 13 years.
Wait. Yeah, something like this. Maybe let's say 10, just to...
But it really fits perfectly with guitar. Also, it's very
Yes.
sonore,
Yeah.
and with a lot of open strings, and it's very enveloping.
And it's so pure. And I feel guitar really represents this also pure sound. It's very beautiful.
Yes. Is there something that fascinates still for you in this song? That's, I mean, between the first time you did it and now, or is there some new aspect?
I think what really fascinates me is the way he used the French language, because it's so smooth to sing. The way he used the syllables.
Mm-hmm.
And also when he's going higher, when he's more talking. This is very fascinating for me. Also, the text in itself has so much... I'm very imaginative. So with this kind of text, I can imagine a lot of things. And I guess Debussy did also now, especially after this story.
I think he was imagining a lot of things.
But also in the guitar, it's amazing because it's so so light. It fits so well to this song. Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, like the first interval that you sang. L'âme évaporée. Like it's something that is going up, and he brings the interval so naturally up.
Yeah. And it's really, I don't know if you say that in English, but enough for itself.
It's
enough, ça se suffit à soi-même. Like it's really, you don't need to overinterpret something. It's enough how he wrote it, and the text in itself, that you don't need to add anything actually. You just have to please the music, I feel.
And also it's a very short piece, not 2 pages and maybe not more than 30 bars, I don't remember. But like there are very precise dynamic changing, like between one bar to the other. It can go from pianissimo to mezzo forte, and the articulations could be different. This really emphasized he wanted suddenly more passionate and suddenly more tender, and it's very sensual.
L'âme évaporée, souffrante, l'âme douce, l'âme odorante des vents que j'ai cueillis dans le jardin de ta pensée. Où donc les vents l'ont-ils chassé? Cette âme adorable délice, n'est-il plus un parfum qui reste de la suave et des célestes, des jours hautement enveloppés d'une vapeur surnaturelle, faite d'espoir, d'amour fidèle, de béatitude et de paix.
Je ne t'aime pas is another song written by Kurt Weill, written in 1934. For me, this piece has the strongest character and the most potential to be a pop song. And I actually get this impression with quite many Kurt Weill's pieces.
Definitely, yeah.
They are still very sophisticated in the relations of text, melodies, and harmonies. But then at the same time, they have the lightness and being very catchy. And in this one, Je ne t'aime pas, especially the use of speaking voice. And you mentioned a few times during our rehearsal that you are very mindful for classical singers interpreting pop song. What do you think is important to be careful about?
I feel that, for
Character
example,
of the
lead
song.
can be very like, it's art,
Yeah,
you know.
we have to be careful.
We have to, it's art. Again, I love lead, but it's art, you know. And then you have this song that is art without having to make art of it, because it's just so close to what a human can feel.
Yeah,
That
it's not
for me, it kills the intention of the song if you start to be, even if sometimes it needs it, of course, so it sounds great. I mean, and you find a lot of recording from people who are not classical trained singers, you know, and it also works. Because it's something so human and something you could sing in a bar also, I feel like a more cabaret setting. I think we need to go back to the more popular way of singing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just maybe.
Yeah.
No?
And of course, sometimes it's a very hard song to sing, and I'm thankful to have the classical training technique to have the interval right, and
Yeah, you have to switch.
but it's good
between...
to switch, especially like talking, because I know a lot of classical singers who even talk, they never lose this position of talking, you know. There's this cliche about opera people, but it's because we sing all the time in this position, so then we talk in that position also, you know. And I think a song like Claude Debussy could be like, Je ne t'aime pas, you know, it would be like,
Yeah, we are not acting
it's like
Shakespeare.
Like it's,
theater,
exactly.
Yes.
For me, that's then a bit of bad taste, but it's my opinion, so...
Yeah, this song is extremely sentimental and dramatic, no?
Yeah.
When you consider the different states of emotion of the protagonist, There's
a lot.
so much happening.
It's a lot happening.
How would you describe the unfolding of what's going on?
The unfolding. Well, I think it's a person that is really dual, like, in duality, like she or he, even if I think it's she, but
from the text it's not very clear.
It's she. But it's not clear, no. But I think I want to imagine a she in love with a she. But then, trying to convince yourself sometimes in life, you're like, no, I don't want this. Even if actually all your cells are saying, I want that. But you're like, no, I don't want this. You're like, no, I don't love you.
Yes.
Even if
Refusing.
everything else is saying like, I love you, like. So it's really this double emotion that is happening in the protagonist.
So first she refused. She said, take off your hand, and then I don't love you.
But she wants the hand.
Yes. And then
I think she really wants the hand,
Yeah, for sure.
But I think also she's really hurt. So there is something that says, I don't want it. I know it would be better, but I want it. But I don't. No. Yes. Yeah. No, I don't.
Yes. It's a échelle of from no, and then
yes.
and say until that. Oh, I am on my knees now. Please.
Yes, it's crazy.
If this song would have been written in German, do you think it would have the same impact on you?
No, I don't think. Even if I'm bilingual in both, I still feel that I'm closer to French when it's come to feelings or expressing when I feel something. So I think that's why this song also touched me so much, is because I think more in French than in German.
When you talk to yourself.
Yeah, and also I think the je ne t'aime pas, like ich liebe dich, it sounds different, I think this song needed, I think there is a reason why Kurt Weill, I don't know if he spoke French, but it was not his main language, chose that language, even though he has other songs like Abschiedsbrief. I don't know if you know it, it's in German and it has to be in German. I feel it's too good to be in French, this one.
It's this one fits perfectly
right?
With German.
So I think there is a reason why he chose Je ne t'aime pas.
Yes. It reminds me one Charlotte Gainsbourg. I saw her in one of her interviews. So she having a French dad, the iconic Serge Gainsbourg, and the British mother, Jane Birkin. She is fluent in both languages. And in that interview, she said she would more often prefer to express things through English, because doing it so in French would be too intimate and without filters. And she felt too...
I understand. Yeah. I like to feel it when I sing, so I was happy it's in French.
That you really feel that it's authentic and you are to the noyau.
Exactly. Yeah.
Retire ta main, je ne t'aime pas, car tu l'as voulu, tu n'es qu'une amie, pour d'autres sont faits le creux de tes bras. Endormie. Ne me parle pas lorsque c'est le soir, trop intimement, à voix basse même. Ne me donne pas surtout ton mouchoir, il renferme trop le parfum que j'aime. Dis-moi tes amours, je ne t'aime pas. Ou s'il fut ingrat, n'était qu'un rêve et qu'une folie. Il me suffira que tes yeux soient clairs, sans regret du soir, ni mélancolie. Il me suffira de voir ton bonheur, il me suffira de voir ton sourire. Conte-moi comment il a pris ton cœur, et même dis-moi ce qu'on ne peut dire. Non, tais-toi plutôt, je suis à genoux. Le feu s'est éteint, la porte est fermée, je ne t'aime pas. Ne demande rien, je pleure, c'est tout. Je ne t'aime pas, je ne t'aime pas, oh ma bien-aimée. Retire ta main, je ne t'aime pas. Je ne t'aime pas.
Are you ready for my last question?
Yes. I have to.
What do you think of your own voice?
Sorry. Oh wow. That's a very. You didn't tell me about this question.
I never use this question actually. Do you think it's very different of your speaking voice and your singing voice? And is there days like you like more?
Well, I think the question is so deep.
Or do you think
Because-
that sometimes I feel myself that my voice doesn't really correspond to my personality or my characters when I listen to it?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That what is a bit sad is that I actually feel I will never hear my voice how you hear it, because I always hear it from inside, which is super different from how you are now listening to me. And every time I listen to recordings, for me, it's through a machine. So I don't think it's exactly how it sounds, you know what I mean? So there is one thing that I think, be sad about it all my life. No, but it's like, I will never hear my voice how you will, because even when I will listen to recordings, it's not going to be 100% exactly.
Do you like to listen to yourself in recording?
I think it's a learning and a process. I used to hate that. And I used to really don't like my voice for super, super long. And I think since I stopped studying, I really discovered I'm my own teacher. So I need to stop being just criticizing, which is not helping when you need to work on your voice. So I work a lot to be like, okay, for example, if I record something, I will think, it's super shit. Then I'm like, okay, now Chiara, it's the third time. Now try to put the judgment by side, and what can you change? What can you learn? What can you improve? Because I don't have a teacher, so I need to be my own teacher. And I don't want my teacher to tell only you shit. So I try to not tell myself only this. So
It's very important.
So it's a process, and I think I like it more and more now. But it depends also of the mood, where I am in my cycle. If I slept well, some days it's like, you wake up and you look in the mirror like, I like myself today. And then it didn't change, but the day after, like, why am I so fat? Like, I didn't, and I believe that it's so deep. No, to be honest, especially training also as a dancer in the more street styles, I sometimes when I listen to recording, I feel it's so weird to sing classical because it's so unreal, this voice. Even if everyone is like, it should be natural, for me, lyrical voice is not natural. We try to make it natural as much, but it is not natural. you will.
Yeah, it's not the voice that you were
So sometimes I
sing
look at
under your
recording, I'm like,
shower.
it's so
Yes.
weird. Why would someone sing like that?
Mhm.
But then there is something like, for example, when I go to concerts and I watch amazing classical singers, I'm so impressed. But I feel I didn't make yet the connection of being like, I'm this too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, actually, I'm that too. But so yeah, I don't know if this answers your question, but
Yeah, it tells
kinda.
a lot, and it goes so far and
Yeah.
deep in your reflections. And yeah, thank you so much, Chiara,
Thank
for
you.
being
Thanks for
here
inviting.
to drink a little lead with me, and for making such amazing music with me. It's really a real pleasure to play with you.
My too.
How can our listeners stay updated on your projects and news, both for your dancing and singing activities?
So I have a website, chiarajarrell.com, where you find mostly my next concerts or performances, shows. Or I'm trying to be quite active on social media, posting videos. And so I have one for the singing and I have one for the dancing. I don't combine them on Instagram. For the singing one is Chiara-Jarrell soprano. And the dancing one is Chiara with 2A May. May is my second name, Chiara May. That's why.
You will find the both accounts below the description. Thank you, Chiara.
Thank you.
This episode is now finished. Go to our YouTube channel to check out the playlist Time for a Lead to review all these great songs. Comment below to let me know which was your favorite songs today. See you in the next Drink a Little Lead with me. Ciao!